Welcome back to Odd Occasions, where we uncover the dark and disturbing stories that leave us questioning the world around us. Today, we're exploring a chilling topic: 10 brutal murders of pizza delivery drivers. What seems like a routine job, bringing food to our doorsteps, can tragically turn deadly in the blink of an eye. From calculated robberies to senseless acts of violence, these stories remind us of the dangers lurking behind what should be an everyday task. Get ready for an unsettling ride, because these are the cases where a simple pizza delivery turned into a nightmare. Number 10. Bobby Jenkins, 2019. In 2019, Bobby Jenkins, a 30-year-old pizza delivery driver for Stacy's Pizza in Philadelphia, tragically lost his life while delivering a pizza to what authorities suspect was a setup. The delivery destination was an empty house under construction, and police believe Jenkins was lured to the property as part of a planned robbery. When Jenkins arrived, the assailants, who had entered the vacant home through a rear entrance, were lying in wait, armed and ready. They attacked Jenkins, shooting him in the chest and robbing him of several personal items before fleeing the scene. His body was discovered inside the empty house, marking a tragic end to what should have been a routine delivery. Just days before Jenkins' murder, another pizza delivery driver had been robbed in the same area but escaped unharmed. Jenkins had been working extra hours delivering pizzas to save money and eventually start his own business, a dream that was cut short by this senseless act of violence. Number 9. Khaled Heeba, 2020. Khaled Heeba had fled the conflict in Syria to find safety for himself and his family, first in Egypt and then in the United States 3 years ago. In February 2020, Khaled was delivering pizzas for Vizzini's Pizza in Baltimore when his life came to a tragic and senseless end. During one of his delivery trips, Khaled encountered a distressing situation on the street. With his kind nature, he immediately jumped out of his vehicle to assist, but in doing so, he unknowingly put himself in harm's way. The individual Khaled was trying to help turned on him, pulling out a gun and fatally shooting him. The murder occurred just a few blocks away from both his workplace and his home, mere moments before Friday prayers. His family, devastated by the loss, described Khaled as a compassionate and hard-working man whose big heart ultimately led to his untimely death. The tragedy was compounded by the fact that Khaled's brother, who lived in Germany, was unable to join the family for the funeral due to the Syrian travel ban, making a painful situation even more difficult for those he left behind. Number 8. Stephanie Brainerd, 2019. Stephanie Brainerd, a dedicated pizza delivery driver, was tragically murdered while delivering a pizza to Chesapeake's Marina Point in 2018. When police arrived at the scene, they discovered that the apartment she was delivering to was empty, leading them to believe that Stephanie's murder was part of a premeditated plot. During the incident, a nearby law enforcement officer heard gunshots and witnessed the suspects fleeing in a black SUV. A pursuit ensued, during which one suspect jumped from the moving vehicle and escaped. However, the officer continued the chase, eventually apprehending the 2 remaining suspects. 3 individuals, Toneji Ravenel, 19, Antonio Britton, 18, and Samia Davidson, 20, were charged with robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and using a firearm during a felony. After further investigation, all 3 were also charged with first-degree murder for their involvement in Stephanie's senseless death. Another chilling reminder of how a routine delivery can turn deadly. Stay with us as we continue to count down more tragic stories where pizza deliveries turned into brutal and fatal encounters. The next story is just as devastating. Number 7. Joshua Ungersma, 2020. On August 31, 2020, a tragic series of events unfolded when Joshua Ungersma, a Domino's pizza delivery driver in Lafayette, Indiana, was lured into a deadly setup. Alberto Van Meter, just 19 years old, attempted to rob Ungersma during the delivery. However, in self-defense, Ungersma fatally shot Van Meter. Shortly after the gunfire rang out, a nearby resident rushed outside to help, while his roommate called the authorities. Unfortunately, despite their efforts, it was already too late to save Ungersma. Moments later, Jalen Billups, who was just 17 years old, crossed the street and shot Ungersma, killing him in the middle of the street. Police arrived at the scene immediately after the fatal shooting and arrested Billups. Investigators soon uncovered that Billups had conspired with Van Meter, ordering the pizza to a vacant location as part of an armed robbery scheme. Because Billups had participated in the commission of a felony that led to Van Meter's death, she was also charged with his murder under the felony murder rule, in addition to the murder of Joshua Ungersma. This case highlights the tragic and unpredictable danger that pizza delivery drivers can face while simply doing their jobs. Stay with us as we continue our countdown of brutal murders that forever changed the lives of delivery drivers. The next story is just as heartbreaking. Number 6. David Shelton, 2019. In 2019, David Shelton, a 30-year-old pizza delivery driver from Portage, Indiana, was tragically murdered while working for Luigi's Pizza. Shelton became the second delivery driver to be killed in Glen Park in just 1 month. He was fatally shot during a robbery attempt as he made his delivery. The police swiftly arrested 2 suspects from Gary, Indiana, Terrianti Flournoy and Siontai Wright. Both were charged with attempted robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and murder. Flournoy, a convicted felon, also faced additional charges for illegal possession of a firearm. The investigation revealed that one of the phone numbers used to place the pizza order belonged to Flournoy's mother. When questioned by authorities, Flournoy's mother stated that she had learned about the murder through social media. During her interrogation, Flournoy tried to intervene, shouting at his mother, "You don't have to answer that, and don't snitch on me." His actions during the questioning only raised further suspicion. In addition, police arrested Wright and his girlfriend. Although Wright's girlfriend initially claimed to be at work during the murder, she eventually admitted to knowing about the planned heist, further implicating the group in the crime. This tragic case serves as a stark reminder of how pizza delivery drivers are often vulnerable to premeditated, senseless violence. Stay with us as we continue the countdown of brutal murders that turned routine deliveries into fatal encounters. The next case is equally shocking. Number 5. John Sullivan, 2014. In 2014, John Sullivan, a 49-year-old pizza delivery driver in Indianapolis, Indiana, was brutally murdered while on his delivery route. Sullivan's tragic fate unfolded when Derek Romano and Jeremiah Roberts viciously beat him to death. After taking Sullivan's life, the 2 men stole his car and fled to Wyoming, where they were ultimately arrested. The next day, Sullivan's body was discovered in the basement of the residence where Romano and Roberts had been staying. The gruesome nature of the crime left the community in shock as investigators pieced together the events leading to Sullivan's death. Romano and Roberts faced murder charges and were incarcerated at the Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. However, in a chilling twist, 6 years after Sullivan's murder, Derek Romano killed his former accomplice, Jeremiah Roberts, while they were both still behind bars. Roberts was found unresponsive in his cell and was pronounced dead before reaching the hospital, closing another tragic chapter in this horrific case. This story highlights the senseless brutality that pizza delivery drivers can face while on the job. As we move on, the next case in our countdown is just as haunting and tragic. Stay with us as we uncover more unsettling tales of violence that shook communities to their core. Number 4. Richel Nova, 2010. In September 2010, Richel Nova, a beloved father of 4, was brutally murdered while delivering pizzas in Boston. The suspects lured Nova to a vacant house under the pretense of a pizza delivery, where they ambushed him and stabbed him 16 times. In addition to taking his life, the killers stole 2 pizzas, chicken wings, a bottle of Pepsi, and roughly $140 in cash that Nova had on him at the time. Nova had been working as a pizza delivery driver to help fund his children's education, doing whatever he could to support his family. His tragic death left a profound impact on his loved ones and the community. The 3 individuals responsible for Nova's murder were brought to justice. Alexander Gallet and Michel Saint-Jean were each sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for their roles in the vicious attack. Yamile Mathurin, Gallet's girlfriend, was found guilty of manslaughter and sentenced to at least 17 years in prison, with no chance of parole. Additionally, she will serve a 3-year probation period as part of her sentence for armed robbery. This heart-wrenching story shows the senseless violence that can emerge from a simple act of delivering food. As we continue to uncover more cases in this disturbing countdown, stay with us for the next tragic story of a pizza delivery driver whose life was cut short. The next case is just as haunting. Number 3. Najeh Masaeid, 2014. In December 2014, Najeh Masaeid, a 63-year-old grandfather and longtime pizza delivery driver for Domino's in Birmingham, Alabama, was tragically murdered while on a delivery. Masaeid's lifeless body was found in a hallway at the Summit condominiums, where he had been delivering pizza. Having worked at Domino's for 15 years, Masaeid was well loved by his co-workers and community. 2 weeks after his body was discovered, authorities arrested Corey Arrington, a 17-year-old, and charged him with murder. Despite the violent crime, Masaeid's co-workers believe he only had around $20 on him at the time of the robbery, raising questions about the senselessness of the killing. Additionally, authorities charged Arrington with robbery for another incident that had occurred at the same apartment complex prior to Masaeid's murder. This devastating case illustrates the vulnerability of pizza delivery drivers and the incomprehensible violence that can result from even the smallest sums of money. As we near the top of our list, stay with us for more stories that reflect the dark and disturbing reality faced by those working in seemingly ordinary jobs. The next case is another chilling reminder of how routine tasks can turn deadly. Number 2. Giorgio Gallara and Jeremy Giordano, 1997. In 1997, Giorgio Gallara and Jeremy Giordano, 2 pizza delivery drivers from Tony's Pizza in New Jersey, fell victim to a pair of senseless murders now infamously known as thrill killings. Gallara and Giordano were delivering 2 cheese pizzas to what they thought was a routine order, only to arrive at an empty house, which had been set up as a trap. The suspects, Thomas Koskovich and Jason Vreeland, had previously committed a robbery at an outdoor sports store where they had stolen several firearms. Seeking the experience of killing someone, they placed a fake pizza order and lured the 2 delivery drivers to their deaths. Upon arrival, both Gallara and Giordano were shot and killed in cold blood, their lives taken for nothing more than the thrill of it. The day after the murders, authorities arrested Koskovich and Vreeland and charged them with murder. The case shocked the local community and served as a chilling reminder of the darkness lurking behind seemingly ordinary acts of violence. This tragic case demonstrates the horrifying and twisted motives that some killers have. As we approach the final case in this countdown, prepare for one more disturbing story of a pizza delivery driver whose life was cut short in a senseless act of violence. Stay tuned for the last entry, which is as heartbreaking as it is chilling. Number 1. Brian Wells, 2003. In one of the most bizarre and tragic cases involving a pizza delivery driver, Brian Wells became entangled in a deadly conspiracy that involved a bank robbery, a scavenger hunt, and a handmade explosive device. Wells, who worked for Mamma Mia's Pizzeria in Erie, Pennsylvania, is widely believed to have been unaware that his role in the scheme would ultimately lead to his death. The terrifying sequence of events began when Wells delivered 2 pizzas to a remote location at the base of a television station's transmitting tower. There, individuals involved in the plot placed a collar bomb around his neck. While there is speculation about whether Wells participated in the robbery willingly or under duress, it remains uncertain if he knew the bomb was real. Following this, Wells was given a note and instructed to rob a PNC bank, demanding $250,000. The crime was part of an elaborate 9-page scavenger hunt that would allegedly lead him to keys capable of deactivating the bomb. After entering the bank and leaving with a much smaller sum of money, Wells was apprehended by police in a nearby parking lot. Tragically, while waiting for the bomb squad to arrive, the collar bomb detonated, creating a large hole in Wells's chest and killing him instantly. Despite the complexity of the case and numerous suspects, the true extent of Wells's involvement and the conspiracy behind the crime continue to fuel debate to this day. And that wraps up today's list of 10 brutal pizza delivery driver murders. A sobering reminder of how even the most ordinary jobs can come with extraordinary risks. These drivers were just doing their jobs, but their lives were cut short in horrific ways. What are your thoughts on these tragic cases? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this episode thought-provoking, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a chilling deep dive from Odd Occasions. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay safe out there, because sometimes danger is closer than we think. Until next time, stay curious and stay aware of the odd occurrences all around us.